Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this is Bad Weather Fans, episode 146. Mike Piseglia, Alex Benezowitz, and the Brooklyn Nets play like dog shit. They lose to the Sixers. I don't care what the score is. They lose. Alex putting the L up. You know, it's depressing because at this point in Bad Weather Fans, the best part of each of our success is the other team sucking, right? Like the best part of the Net fans is now the Knicks sucking, and the Knicks' best part is the Nets sucking. Whatever, we can get to that. The Nets were a joke tonight. They lose to Philly without their three best stars. I'll have a Knicks compliment later, but Nets were a joke. I'm in a really bad mood about it. Probably the most embarrassed I've ever been to start a Bad Weather Fans podcast. Like the Nets have had bad losses. They lost to the Mavs on a Dinwiddie 3. They lost to the Bucks on a bad play where, you know, KD's foot's on the line. But right now, I'm embarrassed to be a Net fan. Mm-hmm. And I had people DM me like, how are you going to do the podcast tonight? And I said, because I'm not the Nets. I'm not scared to do it. So here we are. Alex, how are you?
That's what it is.
Nah, fuck you. Don't say that. How are you?
You're not a punk bitch.
No. Only I can be mean in the opening monologue. How are you?
I'm good. I got a lot of things to say about the Knicks. We're obviously going to start with the Nets, but Bad Weather Fans is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It is my go-to betting app on the NFL this holiday season. You know, I like to do these like same game parlays, easy and fast payouts, player props. You get to make your own parlays. It's really cool. You get all these types of specials if you opt in. Right now, though, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out right now. Everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost. The bigger your shot to win, big. More legs, more money, more boost. It's easy. I've done a lot of parlays. I've hit a lot on the NFL. I've hit a lot on the NBA, and it's a lot of fun. If you got to not go too crazy, but you can go crazy if you have some fun. You know, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BWF for Bad Weather Fans. That's BWF. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 of free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code BWF for Bad Weather Fans. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And guess what, Mike?
To be fair, what? I'm not guessing. To be fair, Alex.
Guess what?
To be fair,
Tobias Harris, Long Island's finest.
Oh, fuck that. Like, Tobias
dominated the Brooklyn Nets.
Tobias Harris can suck it. Like, fuck him.
Long Island's finest.
You know what's funny is, to be fair.
Oh, that's backwards. L.I. Look at that. L.I.'s finest.
I think
Tobias
from this,
Harris.
I need to notice two things need to be told. One, there's a lot of Knicks fans that listen to this, and a lot of Knicks fans that respect me. And I've done a really nice job in 100 and whatever episodes we've done, gaining the respect of Knicks fans who come to me and go, DM me, text me, and like what I say. I need to be a bigger dick to Knicks fans because that's clear. Because you come out with the double L, fuck you. I need to be a bigger.
That was L.I. That was an L.I.
I need to be a big. I need to be a bigger
Harris.
dick. I need to be a bigger dick to Knicks fans. That's a side note, and I'll do that in later episodes when the Knicks lose to the Magic and Bull puts up 50-6. I'll make sure to do that. I'll make that a note. So all you Knicks fans listening, going, this is the episode I get to come in and be a troll to Dick Mike. I'll make sure to do that. But the Nets deserve all of it tonight. They were a disaster. They were terrible. But they didn't have Utah Watanabe. So to be fair,
yeah. Same thing as Embiid and Harden and Maxey. Sure.
To be fair, it's funny. It was like the Nets didn't have like, oh man, we really could have used Utah tonight. I'm like, you're right. But the problem is
the Jazz roster. Is that what you could have used? Utah?
The problem is they were playing a team without Joel Embiid, who in my opinion is very good, Maxey and Harden, right? The Nets didn't come out with any energy. They didn't come out with any focus, and they were putrid. And what's amazing about this loss is like Durant was bad, Irving was bad, is that Ben Simmons came out and I don't know, I don't want to say was so good that won the game, but there was this fear of like, can Ben handle Philly? Can Ben handle it? Couple parts to that. One, yes, he could handle it. Two, the Philly crowd wasn't that bad. They were kind of pathetic. And the Nets, when they beat the Sixers last year, when Harden was playing, got great efforts from Durant and Irving. They didn't get that tonight. And Simmons, who had 11, 7, and 11, was pretty good and had good defensive effort and did everything. He was good. He did his job. You can see that Simmons is getting better. The problem with the Nets is when Kyrie Irving is on the floor, you can disagree with me or not, and you can tell me how good he is. They're not the same team. They've got problems, and they lacked effort. And I would love, Alex, you can stay away from this, and this will be mine because this is mine. But Net Spaces who want to make it a point to blame Steve Nash for all the net problems. They want to blame Sean Marks for all the problems. You just fucking lost to the Sixers without 3 players, 2 Hall of Famers. You want to say the Nets have issues bigger? Okay, fine. Go in your spaces and do it. This has nothing to do with that. Durant and Irving in spots like this don't show up, aren't good enough. And Simmons deserves credit because he played well. He really did. Like, he came with energy and effort, but the Nets as a whole tonight just sucked. And at some point you can't stop pointing the finger at Steve Nash, John Marks. Now it's Jacques Vaughn's turn. This team just doesn't have it. And they'll have points where they do, but like, if you're a Net fan listening to this, I hate to be the burden of bad news. We suck. We just aren't good enough. You know, we don't get to play the Knicks every night. We're just not good enough.
Yeah, you were full strength against a team without their first, second, and fourth scorer.
We missed Utah.
Utah wannabe. And in the Donald J. Trump, our president, he had some words that he wanted me to share.
Whoa, hold on.
I'm going to say it.
So hold on. That's fine. I respect that he goes to you to share.
I asked him if he had anything. We were DMing, and I asked him if he has anything he wants.
That's fair too. But I started this podcast and I said his best moments are net failures.
Yeah,
and I want to make that clear. Listen. That is clear. His best moments, and that's not just in this podcast. That's on social media as well. His best moments are net failures, and I get
some
where
of mine
he's
too. Hey,
and
listen,
I get where he's coming from, because unfortunately,
Yeah.
like, my best moments now aren't net accomplishments; they're Nick failures. So I want to make that groundwork clear that that's where he's coming from, and I also want people to know that are listening to this to have some context. Dolan was a big Net fan. He grew up as a Net fan. He knows more about the Nets. Hold on. He knows more about the Nets than I do. I find myself, I'm like a B+ A- net historian. He knows more about the Nets than I do. He had a moment where he had some problems with the Net organization and things didn't work out for him.
And then he developed a Twitter account,
and he took advantage of it. And he has an amazing account. And I like John. He does a great account. But I want to give people context for when this comment comes, because I'll say this: I'm in a bad mood.
It's not. It's not that serious. I'm telling you.
Doesn't matter. What is the comment? What is the comment? Let's hear it.
Baruch Hashem. That's his comment. That's his comment on tonight. And you know what's funny? It's I think it makes me laugh, these kinds of games with Ben Simmons tonight, because he was so, like, he was into it, man. He was into it. There was no Embiid, who was the bully, so that made it a little easier for him, I'm sure.
No doubt.
There was but Ben Simmons was into it tonight. And what was funny is the beginning of the game, in these games like LeBron going back to Cleveland, all these types of games, it's always like the second they touch the ball, boo.
It wasn't that bad.
Boo. No, but like then it makes me laugh, because when you get into the second quarter or the third quarter, the fans like forget to boo. He touched the ball for a second. You feel like quick, like boo, like boo, like it's you don't really hear it. It's kind of funny to me. So like that was funny, and it was also so he showed some spunk, man. He got into it with Yang, took a little elbow to the chest and acted a little bit, but then he went back into his face after, and then he had that diving play before the half where he hustled and tapped it down to Durant for the dunk. That was great, man. That was great to see as a Nets fan.
He was
exciting.
Good.
That was the most exciting part of the game. I'm sure
he was fine, and that's where I want to give Knicks fans credit. Like, the Sixer fan was disappointing tonight. And Stan Van Gundy said it on the broadcast, and he was right. If this was a Knick crowd, I don't give a fuck. I can't believe I'm going to do this. The Knicks don't have the Sixer stars. So I can't be like, man, if Randall didn't play and Fournier didn't play and Cam Reddish didn't play, they'd still all be into it. No, they're a little different, but I don't care. If something of this magnitude happened to the Knicks, whatever it was, and the guy came back, I don't give a flying fuck if their three best stars weren't there. The Knick crowd and the Knick energy would have been different. And that just shows me, like, one, not credit to the Knick fan, but it would have been different. And it shows you too, like, it's an Eagles town. They don't give a shit about the Sixers.
The Porzingis return to the Garden showed that. When the Porzingis returned to the Garden and the crowd,
it was pathetic.
Wild. It was like it was like a 20-win team, and the Knick crowd was into it. That was like the highlight of the season. We were every play,
bitches,
and they beat them. And RJ Barrett had that spin move on Doncic for the dunk. That was a crazy game. And I think it's a little bit the bloom is off the rose a little bit. It's been 2.5 years or whatever it is since Ben Simmons was there. So it's kind of like, all right, boo. But like, it's kind of like, all right. If it was like a few months later after you had the cell phone or the sweatpants or whatever it was in practice, I think that's a little different. But it's a little off, but I'm not defending Philly.
It didn't feel like it just, to me, it didn't feel like it was.
It was overhyped.
It was overhyped.
Yeah.
And this is not good, but like, he was the best player for the Nets, who cared, who had energy, came in. Joe Harris, awful. Seth Curry, awful.
Kyrie,
they were just
stinks on defense, man. They were
the rotations. Royce O'Neal didn't have a great game. He wasn't good. And the Nets got beat in, man. They got embarrassed. They got punked. And I'll be very curious. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first person that watches this game on Wednesday night. I'll be at my parents' house. We'll be rocking some pizza. I'm so excited to watch Nets versus the Raptors on a Wednesday night, and I'll be into it. But on this night, this was the most embarrassing loss I have felt going into a Bad Weather Fans podcast in recent memory. And if you're a historian of the pod and you go, Mikey B, don't you remember episode 47 when the Nets lost?
Yeah, Cooney's.
Don't you remember when the Nets lost to the Cavs and they were missing all their players? I don't know. This is a low for the Nets, and if you are a Nets hater, get out your cigar, smoke it. Do whatever you want.
Let it burn.
Enjoy all those moments.
Let it burn. Yes.
The Nets are 8-10. The Nets were 2-6, and they built up to 8-9. So to go to 9-9 would be a nice 7-3 stretch, but to do it versus the Sixers without everybody out, with everybody on the Sixers out, just pathetic. A pathetic loss for the Nets. And if you're one of those people that are like, I am mad at myself for going on Net Spaces and hearing
I told you to do that.
Let's find the blame of Sean Marks and Steve Nash and Jacques Vaughn, this roster complex, and like, come on. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and go, man. They just lost to the Sixers, who were missing everybody. Like, come on.
Stop blaming people. They all sucked.
They just weren't good. They were bad. They were bad tonight. Right.
Season's not over, but it was a bad night. Just take the L. Stop blaming people.
Yeah, right. That's it. Stop. The blame goes to everybody. So
I have a question for you.
No.
I have a question.
I don't know. No, not doing it. No.
Do you know my question?
I don't care what it is. If it like you want to talk pizza, I'll do pizza. I don't want to hear your net. So
my question.
The last time the Nets lost when a Sixers team had 3 stars and Kevin Durant.
Do you regret mocking me for saying the Nets should have kept the culture team and added Tobias Harris?
No, 0%.
They would have had Russell, Dinwiddie, LeVert, Tobias, Jared Allen.
No, hell no.
Picks.
Hell no. Alex, I couldn't sleep last. I'm so glad. Now I'm glad Jazz
would have had a better situation.
So
more
can
fun.
Yeah, I'm not
No
about fun.
anti-Semitism.
I'm not. Well, that's fair. I'm not a Nick fan who's like, let's have fun in the garden. Oh my God, come here. You get $12 pizza. Yeah, that's the best slice in New York. I'm not about that. I want to win titles.
I wasn't talking about the Knicks. I'm saying for you. Like,
Yeah,
well,
fuck.
wouldn't
Well,
that have
I'm
been a
just
better situation? That's what I said the
no,
Nets should have done instead
definitely
of
not.
going
No,
all
because
in
I
on
want
an
to win a
injured
title.
Durant.
Hell no.
And, all right.
That team is not winning a title, Alex.
All right. But
No.
I'm saying
The
that would have been a
answer's no.
baseline for a team that you could have added to. And then
Tobias
maybe
Harris
made another
is
move.
Here's the problem, Alex. Tobias Harris has been bad. He was
No, I
great
know he
tonight.
has. I know he has,
was
but he's
great
okay.
tonight.
I'm saying
But
that
no,
would have been a way
definitely
to
what is
continue to build your
no,
team.
No,
and then maybe
not.
make another move down the road. That wouldn't
No.
have been the final roster as of
No.
3 years ago.
No,
Obviously,
no. The answer is no. The answer is no. It's
Okay.
still no.
So you're
You can
happy
let
with what's happened over the last
I'm not
3 years.
happy with what's happened, but that's I would rather take the chance of winning than have no chance and be like, gee, golly gosh darn, we did bad with our fans.
Well, how
that
do you
was
know they
really
would have no
nice.
chance? That's what my
Alex,
point is. You don't know.
this
They
is
might have
what
had
you
that
said.
squad and then made another move and gotten somebody else and would have had guys that had their heads on straight and wanted to play.
Nope.
You know?
No.
You can't say that. You can't say the Nets couldn't have made another trade for a different star at that point.
Alex, no. The answer is no.
Okay.
The answer is no. I'm
Okay.
glad they did the deal.
Mhm.
That's the chance you have to take. I
Mhm.
want to win a title. And like I said before, I'm not about that. Like, hey, let's go to the Garden. This is so cool. We can sit front row.
What does the Garden have anything to do?
Alex, let me rip the Knicks. No, the answer to you is no. This is
Okay.
I just think you're coming from a Nick perspective where it's about being average. And for me, it's about being.
I'm not doing
We-
that.
you
I'm
know,
saying about giving
you and I
yourself
have
more-
different perspectives of
Nope.
fans. Like,
Nope, that's
you're
not
a
what I'm
Nick
doing.
fan. You know, it's
Not
about
what I'm doing.
it's about what the atmosphere is like. You know, you got a lot of cool people on Instagram.
I'm talking about giving
Hey,
the
look at
team
the
more
courtside
options.
seat. Here's a selfie. No, I'm
having
just
more
being
options, having
hear
to
you.
continue to build your team instead of going all in on an injured player and a guy who's off the wall. That's what I'm saying. And I said it 3 years ago too. You know, so like that's what it is. I mean, I did want Kyrie because I didn't think Kyrie was this crazy. So I'll take that. But like, I didn't want Durant. I didn't want any part of having a guy who was injured for a year and played. And when he's played, they're not winning. So like, what's happening? You know, why was what was the point of that? You could have just continued to build your team. Jared Allen's an all-star. Levert's a good player. Dinwiddie's a winner. You know, I mean, D'Angelo Russell looks like a bum now. That's an over bad contract, but you probably had to trade him anyway if you wanted to get Tobias or somebody like that or Jimmy Butler. You know, and you could have continued to build your team that way.
The answer's no. The answer's no.
All right, whatever. I'm just overall, I'm just so tired of national broadcasting sucking the Nets' dicks and like saying like, "Oh, you can't talk about the championship contenders without including the Nets." I'm like, can we stop?
I don't.
The Nets
think
are
they're
at full
doing that.
strength. They just lost to a fucking shorthanded Sixers team. I need to see them get a nice winning streak and like beat some good teams before we put them in that fucking conversation.
I know.
Like enough.
Sucks.
Enough of
It
that,
sucks.
man.
I really want to come on this podcast and you'd be like, well, I guess they're good again. You know, I can't get that. I just
they're
can't
not.
get that.
They stink.
I know. They're just they don't stink.
They got rid of Nash.
They're inconsistent. They're inconsistent
And they still stink.
They stink. They stink. They stink. I don't mind you saying it to me in person, but if you
On
say
the show, it hurts.
No,
Yeah, it's annoying.
no. If you say it on, it's more annoying when you say it on social media than you say it in real life.
Yeah, I think you said that. The way that I tweet kind of really grinds.
You're
people's
a
gears.
very good tweeter. I've said this multiple times. You're a very good tweeter. You know how to get under people's skins, and it's a skill of yours. I mean, it's
thank you.
definitely something that you've established as, a skill. I would never take that away from you, and enjoy it. Bask in the Nets, shitness because you deserve it. You deserve it. You know, the Knicks, a 3-2 road stand. They get a nice win to end it versus Oklahoma City. Return the favor. Oklahoma wins. This is my way of transitioning off the Nets. So for people listening that like the Knicks going, he's doing the Knicks stuff. Here I go. Knicks, nice little.
You want to do another read before we get into the Knicks?
I don't have the energy.
I'll do it again.
I'll let you do it
again.
twice.
We'll
You do it
reset
again.
We'll reset. Then we'll talk
Do
about the
the
Knicks in
DraftKings.
1 second.
I'm in such a bad. I'm like.
You're out of it.
I said this in the first half of this episode. This was the most embarrassed.
I'm in a good mood.
This is the most embarrassed I'm in a good mood too because I am in a good mood for the idea of we are about to go into Thanksgiving. We're gonna have it's Thanksgiving, family, fun, food. So I'm in a good mood for that. But I'm a little out of it. So yeah, I'll let you. We love DraftKings, all of it.
Our sponsor.
You get it again.
So here we go. We'll talk about the Knicks in 1 second. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This is my go-to betting app on the NFL this holiday season. You get the same game parlays, easy and fast payouts, player prop options, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're great. Trust me, you can even do it during the game. It's fun. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Make sure you opt in. And when you opt in and you place the bet, make sure you click on the percentage that you get the boost. You'll see that in the app. Don't miss that. You know, I've done that before. So that made that mistake. So don't miss that. You can get 100% boost. It's great. 50%, 75%, depending on your situation and your parlay. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BWF. That's Bad Weather Fans, BWF. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook app with promo code BWF for Bad Weather Fans. That's BWF. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So the New York Knicks, Mike. The New York Knicks go 3-2 on the West Coast trip, and it feels like they went 0-5.
Oh,
That's 3
man.
+ 2.
I can't believe I'm going to have to come on here and argue for the Knicks. Are we in bizarro world? How can you say that?
I can say that because I didn't really give a shit about the game on Sunday because after that Jets loss, there was no way I was watching Knicks Suns after the Jets pulled that game to the Patriots.
I think this net loss is bad. That's like
I was
that's
watching
worse.
I planned on
That's
watching the
worse
second
loss.
half of the Knicks. I planned on watching the second half of the Knicks game after the Jet game, and after the way they lost, I was done. And my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to watch this Fleischman's something on Hulu?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's watch this Fleischman show." And I'm like,
yeah.
I can't give a shit about Knicks Suns
Fleischman
right
seasons 1, 2, and 3 at this point. Give me the
2
Fleischman's
episodes.
fucking
It's actually pretty
DVD.
good. It's pretty good. Anyway, so so I'm kidding. If they went 3-2, they won back-to-back games on the road, you know, versus the Jazz and the Nuggets. The Nuggets didn't have Jokic, and then they lost. Who'd they lose to? I forgot who they lost to. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The Suns they lost to, and whatever. Who cares? And I forgot who they lost.
I love that. Like I said in
the Warriors. The Warriors. They were no
best
shot.
Part of my season is ripping your fucking franchise. So yeah, it was the Warriors.
They were outclassed by the Warriors. They got some payback against the Thunder, and that's great. RJ Barrett finally looked good against the Thunder. He looked really slow over the week. He was shooting terribly, and of course, Knicks fans, fickle ass Knicks fans, turning on RJ Barrett and acting like, oh, he stinks now. He's 22 years old. He was sick. He had a rough go of it. You know, whatever. You know, RJ did not look so great, but you know what? He was, like I said, he was sick. He had a rough shooting performance. He looked good against the Thunder. He's been a little he's struggling a little bit, but this Knicks team makes no damn sense. And now the rumors out there, as per Fred Katz, who's a legitimate reporter and a respected reporter from the Athletic, says the Knicks have targeted a future first-round pick in return for Immanuel Quickley, and they're shopping him. Like, what are we doing? Why are we shopping Quickley? What, like, unless it's part of a big package for something we don't see coming, which is a lot of times what happens when you see these rumored trades. It's not going to be Quickley straight up for a pick. But why are we dealing Quickley? Why are we dealing Quickley for Pickleys? Why are we doing that? We should be trading guys like Rose, Fournier, and Randall. Just get them off the team and let's see what we got. Because last night we saw, Monday night, whenever you're listening to this, we saw Deuce McBride come in when there was no Rose, and he was playing D. That backcourt of McBride and Grimes was crushing it on the defensive end, and they let a run in the middle of the game, and I was like, whoa, okay, Deuce.
Why are you upset? Like I said,
I like that because they were winning games. It's fool's gold, man. They were winning games with, they're beating a Jazz team who just had a hot start. They're not that good. Then they beat the shorthanded Nuggets team without Gordon and Jokic. They get blown out by the Warriors. They're not on the same class as them. That's not their fault. Whatever. You run into a buzzsaw. They never win in Golden State. And it's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole again. And now they don't play again until Friday. It's just like, against the Blazers, I think.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? It's just, if the Knicks are waiting for a long losing streak to fire Tibbs, just fire him now. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's why these wins, like, they're great. They're wins, and I want to see my team win, and I'm watching the game, and I'm rooting for them. But at the same time, it's just like, how is this helping the franchise? It's not, because this coach is not going to lead them to the promised land. This coach is not going to develop the talent. This coach is not going to play the players that need to play to develop the franchise in the future, to see what we have. I don't know if they're great. I don't know how good they are. They're not getting a chance. And they're playing, but they're playing 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. And it's just 15 minutes this game. 20, but thank God we can see Isaiah Hartenstein. Thank God. And I like him. But I'd rather see Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims play all the minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just this team just makes no sense. And we're just it's like we're in the purgatory way. We went for the Mitchell, but we didn't really go for Mitchell, and then we stayed this way. We drove by the fork of the road and went straight, but not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying the same thing over and over, but I'm glad we beat the Thunder. But then I see a guy like SGA crushing it. I'm just like, God damn. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, I want a guy like that. And they could have had a guy like that in Donovan Mitchell. And it's just you don't have it, and I can't help but say the same thing over and over because I'm frustrated at this roster, especially since they won't play the players that need to play.
Well, Alex, I'll defend the Knicks because honestly, I'm so mad at the Nets. I'll just do it. They're winning games, and that's what matters most. And you can be upset about it, and it can feel like it doesn't matter in the long run.
Yeah.
Which I guess is true because, the Knicks aren't a team that has the potential to win a championship. They're not, obviously. But you just have to root for them to win. You just have no other option.
Of course.
So yeah, you don't like this. Yeah, you don't like that. But if they can go 3-2, and Jalen Brunson's been very good. I mean, he really has. He's
a good pickup.
If this was a hot Knicks Spaces because during the offseason I was obsessed with Knicks Spaces because who isn't? Like, who wants to go to the beach?
Me?
Who wants to have time with their
I'm not
family?
obsessed. I'm not obsessed with Knicks Spaces.
Who loves actual real life? Who doesn't want to join a Knicks Spaces on a Saturday at 8?
Saturday? How about a Tuesday at 11:30 in the afternoon?
People who are like, let's talk about the Jalen Brunson offseason. Does he give you one more win or does he give you 7 more wins? And, he gives them 3 more wins. And then, at Knicks 12, my penis is this big, 7 says he gives them 4 more wins. And the debate comes. I don't know who won the debate, if it was 7 penis or 6 penis. But the point I'm making is, I think without him, the Knicks probably have 2 less wins, right? So okay. I think for the Knicks fans, this guy's winning them games.
But that's what I said from the beginning. He was going to add 5 wins or so on the season.
He might add 8.
Oh my God.
But don't you want? But I mean, you're moving in the right direction. I would agree with at 7-12 penis.
But are we? Because what's the next move? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what these guys. What's gonna happen?
My team.
Mike. Let me explain to you.
The next move is you get more superstars, and then you become me, and you sit here in depressed mode.
Sorry, let me explain to you what's going to happen.
I'll stop.
I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen over the next 10 years.
I'll stop.
The Knicks are not going to give Obi Toppin a chance. They're not going to give Quickley a chance. They're not going to give Grimes a bigger chance. All of these guys are going to get dealt, or they're going to leave. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to go on to other teams and win championships. And you know why? Because they're good pieces on good teams. And you know what the Knicks are not doing? They're playing the old, crusty-ass vets that are overpaid. And yes, I'm calling Randall at 26, 27 years old, because he is what he is. And they're playing these guys. I know they benched Fournier. That's great. But they're playing these guys over guys like Obi and Quickley and Sims and Hartenstein. They're playing it too. I'm including him as well. And I like him. He plays hard and hustles. I really like him a lot. But it is not progressing this franchise forward. They went 3-2 on the West Coast trip. Big fucking whoop. But I'm rooting for them to win. And that's what sucks. It's a mind fuck. It's purgatory. And that's the problem with the situation the Knicks are in. We have you root for them to win, but it's kind of like, all right.
Well, it's fun. It's it's interesting because I would say if we went 2 years back and this is what you were getting from the Knicks, you would be so excited.
But that's the problem. We're going off of sorry to cut you off. We're going off a tanking mindset and been terrible since Melo. And now the Knicks are going to be like, hey, we were in the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Look how great this franchise is doing. Meanwhile, they could have taken a step up and they're not, and they're wasting the next 2 years.
You think Randall gets dealt? I do. The Nets could use him.
I don't think so. I don't think Randall gets dealt.
I would do Randall for Kyrie. I would.
Yeah. No thanks. I would do Randall for Westbrook and then buy out Westbrook.
I think you keep Westbrook.
Do you see Westbrook with, they're rumored that he would go to the Heat if he gets bought out somewhere. which I don't get that.
I think this shows how old we are because I remember when I was a youngster, like Westbrook being the young guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it shows how we're aging and like these young guys are coming up. And man, yeah, I don't know. What I'm trying to
Well,
say
Jacques
is
Vaughn is a coach, bro. Like, think about that. We remember him playing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
he's your
remember,
coach.
Jacques Vaughn.
Yeah,
Oh, of course,
that's what I'm
back
saying.
up to Jason
I remember in
Kidd.
college
No.
too. You know. So
No, I mean,
yeah,
yeah, no, that's tough.
it's
That's tough. I mean,
we're
it's
getting old,
tough.
man.
You know, it's tough here on Battle with Fans. What episode is this again? 146.
Yeah,
You know, like
that's
we
our
did
age.
this.
Yeah.
We did this, and I'm sitting here going like, this net loss is so pathetic, and they could change it. They could beat Toronto on Wednesday, but it was just they needed to. It was so funny because
Yes.
the narrative coming into tonight was if Ben Simmons isn't there, Kyrie and KD can pick him up. And they didn't. And like Simmons came in and he was 3 for 6 from the line. He missed 2 after he got flagrant fouled, and he wasn't great, but he controlled tempo. He got into the paint. He played defense. You know, if he's your third best player with that kind of energy and intangibles, it's going to work. But it's the stars not showing up. Joe Harris just being awful. Royce O'Neal being average. The Nets just I love, you know, the TNT bro. I swear to God, the Nets have not won a game on TNT. And I
think they beat the Knicks, right? They beat the Knicks. Was that on TNT?
but
Or
it was
ESPN?
also on Yes.
Oh, okay. We want a standalone on
A
TNT.
standalone. It was just like
where
kind of
everybody sees it.
It was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like it was kind of like the just the I don't even remember the point I was going to make. You distracted me.
That's okay. Listen, just listen to me very clearly. Listen to me very clearly. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are not what they used to be, and they're not winning shit, even if they're healthy. It's over. It's not going to happen. And you can play this back. If they win, that's great. But they're not winning a championship. Even when they're healthy, they're not going to. It just is what it is. Something's going to happen to take them off the floor. And even if they're healthy, they're not good enough anymore. It just is what it is. And I'm sorry. But as your friend, I have to tell you this straight.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, I know. It's hard to take.
I do have
It's
a poll
hard to
question,
take.
by the way, Mike.
Oh God, enough of this. Enough.
Nick's poll question. I don't want to get too depressed. So I'm going back to something that'll make you happy.
If I could do a poll question, here's what it'd be. If Obi Toppin went to either the Suns or went to the Jazz, where would he be an all-star first? I hope
probably the Jazz. Looking at
I would say
marketing right now.
Who hates the Knicks more, Obi Toppin or Quickley? Both of those guys, deep in their hearts, have to be going. This sucks.
Oh, man.
This place sucks.
Listen.
This
There's no way.
Sucks.
There's no way that Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley
coach sucks.
are loving this.
Energy sucks. Fans
especially
aren't
Obi, because Quickley gets to play a lot more.
Obi the most.
Obi is probably like, dude, what the fuck do I have to do to get on the damn floor? You know what I mean?
And lucky for Obi, he might not be great as an NBA pro, but even if he isn't, he can go, well, Knicks management didn't get me to play. It's not like Kevin Knox. It was like, hey, he played, it wasn't good. Or, Frank, who was the point guard for Knicks fans that don't remember.
Well, he had a shot. It just sucked.
For Knicks fans that don't know, he was a point guard that didn't get he had some good moments, but whatever. Like Obi, what a weird spot just to be in. Talk about like, does anybody, if like the Knicks had a mascot, like if the Nets had a mascot, it would, all right, if the Nets had a mascot, it would just be like a toilet with poop. But if the Knicks had a mascot, it would be Obi Toppin with his shoulders being like, huh?
You know what's funny? I used to call Nate Robinson back in my Knicks blog, when I used to blog on a bunch of sites back in the day before Twitter. I used to call Nate Robinson the Knicks mascot. And because that's kind of what he was. But I hope he gets better. He has some health problems right now. I hope he feels better, by the way.
I don't mean it like a mascot, but I mean if somebody personifies like where the Knicks are, it's Obi Toppin, where it's like, oh man, did you see like last year Did you see Obi? He had 35 versus he had that 35-point game versus Toronto when they
50.
when
40, whatever he scored.
Did you
Yeah.
see that game? Yeah. Oh my, yeah, I know. Could you believe Drake put up 11 that game? And that was like the big talk, right? And now it's like Obi puts up 11 one game, 0 the next. And I'm going, how could somebody that was so good,
The
and
8th pick in the draft
and I
by
joke,
this regime.
Drake didn't play. Okay, Drake didn't play. But how could he be that good and then have games where he shows flashes, can't? It's just, to me, he is Obi Toppin is just take all the Knicks and Thibs and put it in a bowl, like a ball of energy. He is the Knicks to me.
It's a good point. It's how the organization is as a whole.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, Knicks poll question.
Yeah.
At Knicks Central on Twitter. Knicks fans, do you think Tibbs is coaching the team next season? Not your opinion on what should happen, but what will the team do? Yes or no?
No.
No.
71% no.
61% no. Set a 38.9% yes. A couple shout outs. We have our boy Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time show on YouTube. Great show. This is a 500 team. If we play like it, we will see Tibbs next year. And then we have Ryan G, who's on the Nick of Time show too. He goes, at this current moment, I can't see the front office dipping on Tibbs. LOL. Then we have Doug B. He's at Doug Lust, DUG Lust, LUST. Finish 500, then absolutely yes, he will be back. And then we have our boy, Jay Nicky from the Knicks Wall at Jay Nicky. There's no way. I feel like even if he makes it to the end of the year and we make the playoffs, the front office has to realize he can't take us over the hill, which is a great way to put it. And that's all the shout outs I got for today. So it's scary because the Knicks are going to make the playoffs in the play-in. Maybe they'll win the play-in game. Maybe they won't. Or maybe they'll even get to the 6th seed, whatever it is, right? Because the East is kind of weak towards the bottom, right? Not really weak. That's a bad thing to say, but you never know, right? They're super average, so they can be 42 and 42.
It's open.
Or 41 and 41, not 42 and 42. 41 and 41.
Yeah, it's 82 games, so if you divide it by 2.
Exactly. Yeah, sorry. And whatever it is, between 40 and 42 wins, right? And make the play-in and win a play-in game and make the playoffs, and then they can sell the propaganda. You can see it. Sell the Knicks propaganda. We were in the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. How can you fire the coach? Why would you get rid of Randall? You were in the playoffs for 2 out of 3 years. Look at what has happened over the last 30 to 20 years. How can you get rid of Randall? You know, that's what's going to be sold to us, because that's what was sold to us this past offseason, saying, well, one good year, one bad year. Let's see what happens this year, and we'll do what we can to try to win. And that's what's happening right now, and everybody's starting to see the bullshit that I have been telling you that the Knicks have been spewing this entire offseason, but nobody wants to listen to me, Mike. At Knicks Central. Oh, what does he know talking about? This idiot's tail. Look at his crazy takes. How dare he want a fucking star? What an idiot.
Yeah,
what a fucking moron that wants to get a star for draft picks that are guys who are in fucking middle school. You'll figure it out. You'll trade for draft picks in the future. You could keep RJ Barrett if you trade more picks. It was fucking obvious. There was a report by Berman that said that you give 4 picks, you can fucking pick any players you want. But no, that report doesn't mean shit, because the narrative is they wanted everybody. Okay, so whatever. So they got nothing from the Cavs. I know marketing looks good. Whatever. Sexton is a shell of himself. Okay, whatever. It's in November. Let's see what the Jazz are in 3 months. But anyway, the Knicks propaganda is coming, and here it goes. And I'm so tired of it. This is a super average management team. This is a super average team. We are super, super mid. They're 500 at everything. And shout out to Dylan J. Trump again. He had a great tweet. He said, I am the master of the middle class. It was great. I said something like that. I forgot what it was exactly, but it was funny.
Where do you want to do our show for the net Nick playing?
If it's at the Garden, we got to come here. You got to come to my apartment.
And if it's at the Barclays
Center, go to the
game,
we can go to the game. I don't know if you're going to want to go to the Garden for that. I don't know if you want to go. Because that game I want. Even if it's a playing game, and I know it's super average. Once we get to the playoffs, I'm going to want to win. And trust me, when we get close, I'm going to want to win.
Really?
I want to win now.
Wow.
I want to win now.
Hot take. When the playoffs come, you want to win.
But I'm saying,
bad weather.
I know
it's bringing it tonight.
Reality is they're not shit, and they're not gonna they're not on their way to anything. You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
posing the question.
I'm saying,
where do you want to watch the net playing?
At the Garden.
Well, okay, all right. So we're doing it at the arena.
Yes, we're gonna bring a microphone.
We
We're gonna
getting
walk
a
around like these
credential.
guys
I've
with
seen
their
these
YouTube
other
shows.
podcasts get credentials. Why don't we have credentials?
I don't know.
Could we apply for one?
Because I don't want
You tight
credentials.
with the
I'm good,
Knicks?
man. I don't want credentials. I'm good.
Get a credential.
I don't want to go in the locker room. Why the fuck do I want to do that?
I'm not saying you go in the locker room. I'm saying you don't have to pay for a ticket.
Pay for a ticket. Oh, just to not pay for a ticket, I can wear a fucking tag around my neck and walk around.
Oh,
Hey
man.
guys, look at me in my tag. I get to go in
No,
this back exit.
you would
Like,
love it. You would love it.
yeah, sure. I'd love
You
it.
ever have a credential?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I can.
I
Tell.
could have when I used to blog on this on these websites.
So get a credential. We got to go.
They said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good," because I want to be. I like being a fan. I like being person from this perspective. I don't want to be in that seat. Either way, here we are, and we are super average, and the Nets suck, and that's great. And Mike's having issues with his microphone, and I don't think he can hear a word that I'm saying right now. And it's funny because Mike smells, but he's back. Hey, Mike, can you hear us? No, you can't hear us.
No, I got you. My microphone's been a dick all night. It's gone out twice. There was one.
We don't
other
know if anybody
point-
even heard the show. They
No,
might have just heard me talking, and
no,
not you
people
at
just
all.
heard you talk. I don't know what you said in the last. I will say.
I said you're a
there
great
is-
guy. I said you're a great guy.
No, you're
I
just
said,
saying that.
very good looking.
I
Yeah.
used to be very good looking. It's just, man. I will say like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the Jets.
No, we don't have to do football. There's nothing to say with football. I like.
Oh my god, I'm telling you, man.
No,
I'm just
I know.
holy fuck. How did that just happen?
No, I would love to have seen like
we called the Giants though. We called that Giants.
Well, that was
game.
easy. That was
Lions,
easy.
look out.
I was wrong on
Jamal
the Jets.
Williams, look out. And
Where were
boom.
you? And can you just? I don't think people care. Just gonna be honest. Well, maybe they do. I'd love, from my end. I rather hear where you were in your experience of the kick return than more of saying what everybody else has said at this point.
You want to hear my experience? I'll tell you.
Because to me, it's more interesting to like.
So you don't want to hear it.
How Alex had a meltdown than to be like, Zach Wilson isn't good. Wow.
I gotta tell you,
you know.
my story. I couldn't even fully melt down, and because I'm watching the game with my in-laws. My wife's parents are here in my apartment, and we're gonna have dinner with them and whatever. And my mother-in-law knows nothing about football, like nothing. Like she knows when a guy's running down the field, like, oh, there he goes, okay, but she knows nothing.
Is this the Knicks?
No. So he catches, they punt it, and he's running down the field. And me and my father-in-law, he knows football, he knows what he's talking about. And we're like, oh shit, no. And then we're both like, oh, that's a block in the back. And she's like, wait, what just happened? What's going on? What was that? And like 50 questions, and I have to be nice and be like, oh, that's this and that. When this happened, I can't even just like, fuck. Like I wanted to, because I was trying to be nice. You know what I'm saying? It was like, as he's returning the ball, she starts asking like 12 questions. It was infuriating because I couldn't like get mad, but it kind of helped me stay even keel. But then at that moment, I went to walk the dog. I came back 15 minutes later after walking the dog, and I popped on the Knicks game, and I was like, they're like, hey, do you want to watch this show? I'm like, yeah, fuck this game. It's just like I can't watch it. They were like, you guys watch whatever you want. I don't care. I was like, no, what do you want to watch? It's Fleischman's show. Okay, Fleischman's Go Crazy, whatever it's called. It was actually good, so check it out on Hulu, FX show. And that was my experience. And I was just like, I didn't even check the Knicks score. I didn't even check what was going on with the Jets post-game show. I didn't know about what Zach Wilson's bullshit until later. I barely listened to sports radio on Monday, and I'm obsessed with sports radio. I couldn't put myself there. Usually after a big Jets loss, I can't wait to listen and hear it, but that was more of the Joe and Evan days. But now I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man.
I do want to say, Alex, I'll go here. I got a message from Coonies who said, he's a good fan of the podcast. He likes the team.
Now he works for Nickish, by the way. Nickish, the podcast. Big shout out to them.
Shout out to Nickish. Shout out to Coonies being like, I just think about all the time, all the bad. I was looking for his message, but basically along the lines of, at one point when something good gonna happen to one of my teams, and I have an answer for you: never.
It's so funny. We go through these waves as fans with as I'm doing the waves, like rolling with the homies and rolling with the home, the wave. And anyway, we go through these waves where it's like, oh, the Knicks suck and the Jets suck, but the Mets are awesome. So fuck those teams. Like, let's go all in on the Mets. And the Mets blow it up. We're like, holy shit, the Jets are good. Let's go all in on the Jets. The Jets break our hearts. And
Yeah,
we're
it's
like,
emotional, man.
now what? Oh, the Nets lost. Okay, now that's cool, I guess. And now I'm stuck in this weird mode now. Like, oh yeah, sign Jacob DeGrom and yeah, that Japanese pitcher and okay, and whatever. Like, what am I excited about now? Now the Jets might
Man,
have no quarterback, and the Knicks are purgatory, and just like, why do I put so much emphasis on my sports teams?
and I can't
And for you,
believe
the
it.
Giants lose to the Lions, and you're like, fuck. But
I
whatever.
just
That's
can't
still
believe
set.
that the Nets
Yeah.
like legit missed Utah Watanabe tonight, and it was a problem. He's been so good for them, but it
If
shouldn't
Utah
be.
Watanabe
But yeah,
is the key to
exactly.
your success, you're fucked.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. You're not winning shit, man.
I
That's what it
agree
is.
because he
Yeah.
brings energy, 3-point shooting. He brings
Mhm.
all the things that this team lacks. And one last point about this
Fun and
KD
excitement
Kyrie
too.
thing.
Yeah.
I saw a play where KD set a pick and roll. KD went to the corner, Kyrie had the ball, and KD put his hands up like, I'm open. And he didn't pass it. And then KD, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, waved him off, said, just go. And I think KD's a little scared to call out Kyrie on the court. I'm not talking about the other stuff, which is whatever.
I think
It's
he knows he needs him.
Is
He
it
knows he needs
different?
him.
But
Yeah.
like KD would have no problem with saying, you see how it didn't play? Look who's on the court with me. Sumner, da 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 da. Sumner, let me be better than da 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 da. Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris.
Give him the
You
ball.
see how I'm
Yeah.
playing?
Yeah.
But now he had his guys. And I don't think KD would call them out. But like, say what you want about Edmund Sumner and say what you want. They won when he was there. They won games. They weren't great, but the energy was there, the effort was there. And they didn't, Sumner played in garbage time tonight, but it really didn't matter. They were down 12, 13 points with 3 minutes left, whatever.
Surprised they pulled the starter so early.
Yeah,
with 3 minutes
whatever.
left.
I mean,
It was
I
like
know
only
that's
a
gonna be
12-point
I know
game
that's
or
gonna be
something. Yeah.
that'll be a hot topic, but like
We
they
got
were
a lot of
gonna
game.
lose.
Play tomorrow.
Honestly, I was
back to
okay with
back.
it. The team
Yeah.
sucked. They weren't
Game's over.
they
Yeah.
weren't coming back. They weren't like stop with this. Like, oh, I can't believe they pulled KD and Kyrie down 13 with 3 minutes left. No, it was a good move. The team sucked.
Playing
Now,
tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
if this was like, I get it in reality, but it contradicts everything everybody ever says about the Nets. No, they weren't coming back. It didn't matter. So yeah, there we go.
Well,
That's
you know
bad
what
with
it
the
is
fans.
with Kevin Durant.
Go for it.
Real quick with that point, just to expand on it. Kevin Durant always had back in the OKC Thunder days. Kevin Durant always had Westbrook's back publicly. He always, even on the floor, even though he knew he was a pain in the ass, he knew he needed Russell Westbrook in order if he was going to win a championship. He knew he needed him. He knew he needed like once especially when they lost Harden, he was like he knew he had to have his back, even if he drove him fucking crazy. He was like, Westbrook, you're my guy. Let's rock. Guy like Andre Roberson, I remember in the last playoff series when they blew the 3-1 lead to the Warriors, there was one play where Roberson didn't shoot the ball and like he hit him open and he wouldn't shoot. And Durant like openly was like, shoot the fucking ball, like screaming at him. You know what I'm saying? He will never do that to somebody on his level because one, he's not built like that. And number two, he knows that he needs those guys. Like remember what happened with Draymond when he came after Draymond? Draymond would basically was about to kick his ass. And he's like, you know what? That's why I'm out. That's why I'm out. Remember that famous quote? And everybody's like, oh, he's leaving. He's leaving. Yeah. He's not built like that, man. He's just not. And that's just what it is with Durant. That's why this team isn't winning anything, man. It's part of why. they're just not built for
it's amazing to me. And we can have a dialogue here back and forth, and we can say the good parts of the Nets and the bad parts of the Nets. But I mean, that's true. I mean, that's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I get embarrassed for the fans when we start deflecting blame, and if it's Jacques Vaughn and Sean Marks, like if Sean Marks put a team together that's got Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, Nick Claxton,
Curry.
I mean, I would say like
you
look at the other
paper.
teams.
Yeah.
You look at the other teams and go, oh, let's blame him. But then you go to the other teams, you could make the same arguments, right? Like, oh, the Sixers, but then you look at the guys that beat them tonight, and you go, they're the same thing, and it's just so unfair to blame at this point to blame Sean Marks for this problem is it's it's embarrassing. Like if you're a Net fan and you're blaming Sean Marks for this team not having a championship caliber, it's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing thing to say. Net fans, if you're blaming Sean Marks for the problems, it's an embarrassment. Don't do it. Please don't do it. I'm not saying that KD and Kyrie can't win games. I'm not saying that we have to have full expectations of them to do well, but don't sit here and tell me, if Sean Marks had better roster construction. No, I mean, at some point you just have to say, like, just didn't work. So we are counting the days till we get there. And
that's all.
Today's like if you're like in a 10 episode sequence of like the final net countdown, today was like episode 4. So, enjoy it. No, don't do that. Hopefully
That
I'm
was
wrong.
always
Hopefully
90s
I'm
Knicks coming out of a timeout, close game, end of the game. They always played that. So
wrong. Yeah,
what do you think?
no one remembers that, Alex. It was 30 years ago.
Every Knicks fan remembers that from the 90s. Trust me.
Yeah, okay. There's any of the Knicks fans over 15 that listen to this podcast?
Randall, my buddy, listen to the show. You remember that. I know you do.
Well, let me say, I don't know. Tell me.
What do you think the spread is for the Giants Cowboys on Thanksgiving?
76.
What's the spread? Come on.
In Dallas, Giants lose, Lions by 13, Cowboys kill. It's football, so they got to be smart because they can't make it too much. 9.5.
Nailed it. Wow. Did you know that already? You fucking nailed it.
Swear
Look
to
at that.
God,
Look at my
no.
DraftKings app. Nailed it. 9.5. Look at you. Wow.
That's
good for you, man. Good for you. Good for you.
Do I get points for that, DraftKings? Use my promo code.
Use promo
No, that
code
was
BWF.
I swear to God, educated guess. Just thinking like
that was good, man.
Giants with the coming off the loss, Cowboys coming off the win. More than anything, though, the Giant injuries. So in Dallas, you can't have like a 14-point. You can't have it 12 more because it's division. So
let's do all the Cowboys. Let's do all the Thanksgiving games. What about Bills Lions?
Where's the game?
Where's the game? Come on, Thanksgiving. It's in Detroit.
Okay, is that a thing?
Yes, it's always the Lions and Cowboys.
Lions playing well. They've won 3 in a row. Bills win, but they haven't been as good. But you got to give some kudos to the Lions.
Bills got to stay in Detroit after being in Detroit this Sunday.
I'm between two numbers, but I'm going to go 5.5.
10 points.
Wow.
10 points at home. Yeah.
I like Detroit
surprising.
There.
And then the night game is Patriots at Vikings.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a
Vikings off their worst loss of the year. I think a little bit of a letdown from the game before. Patriots
a little bit
only play way well.
Stomped by the Cowboys.
Okay, we fucking.
I know you're kidding. Sarcastic.
Patriots play well versus the Jets. Typically, versus other teams, don't do as well lately. At Minnesota,
yeah.
Vikings 7.
Patriots getting 2.5.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's do one more. The Jets game. Jets game,
wow.
1:00 on Sunday.
I'm not that good. Obviously, I'm not that good at this.
Let's see. So. Bears at Jets. Sunday at 1:00 at shit.
Point total 12. Man, this is an interesting one. Who's
Over
the
under
Jet quarterback?
39.5, which is wild.
Who's the Jet? That's to take the under. Who's the Jets quarterback? They're 40 points.
Yeah, like that's insane. I would take the under of that, man. Hammer that.
Yo, I got
50 or something.
Who's the Jet quarterback?
It's gonna be Wilson. They can't bench Wilson. Not yet. They can pull him in the game, but they can't bench him before.
They're definitely at pull.
Mike White would come in, not Flacco.
Man, the Bears do have a terrible defense. They cannot stop the run. The Jets quarterback's been a problem. Man, to me, this is like 13-10 Jets.
Mm-hmm. Bears.
So if it's Jets 1.5.
Bears are getting 4.5.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
giving the Jets defense respect. I mean, Fields has been a mess. He's been up and down.
Yes,
but he's
I
showed
get
flashes.
that. I get that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, let's take the Jet game and let's backtrack and let's just say, for hypothetically speaking, let's say the Jets win 6-3. Wilson wasn't good, but they do enough. You telling me that spread's the same?
I don't know.
It was one deathly special teams play, which was awful.
Yeah, but
But
the Jets had 2 yards of offense.
But they beat the Bills the week before.
Right. And their defense is amazing. It's one of the top defenses in the league.
Yeah, they've got it. Like I said in the previous episode, they have a Super Bowl defense.
Yeah, they do.
They just don't have a good offense.
And Sauce Gardner, man, he's
right.
better than Revis was as a rookie. I'll put it that way. I don't know if he's gonna be better than Revis.
I like the Jets in this spot. I like them to come back. I think they're so well coached and have a motivator and solid. I'm sarcastic there. I don't know. I think you'll get better performance from Zach. Not good, but not as bad. I like the Jets, 13-10, one touchdown drive, couple of field goals. The defense does enough. I would take the Jets here if I had to pick.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of the Jets, man. They're on the precipice of disaster right now. I keep saying their defense is so good, but
I think it's being overblown by the media.
The defensive players are liking the Giants on Twitter and of shitting on Zach Wilson.
I hear you on that.
Not
Giants are in a bigger trouble than the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be okay. I don't think they're going to do anything. I think the Jets are okay. I like the Jet team. I said
because they can get a spark, right? They can get a spark if Zach Wilson gets his head out of his ass and the quarterback plays better or whatever. Then they can play. Yeah, I do.
It's funny. We had a conversation on this episode on this podcast about Tiki Barber had said earlier in the year. He goes, "I really like the Jets. I think for the Jets to have the best season possible, Joe Flacco's the quarterback." And we all were like, "No, Zach Wilson has to take a step." Right. But I think, truth be told, I think he was right.
But you had to play Zach. You couldn't play.
Of course.
Now
he was a second pick in the draft. You couldn't not play him. That would be.
And to be fair to Zach Wilson in this Patriots game, the offensive line was shit. There were a lot of plays, and there was that one play that fans blew up, and even Orlovsky talked about it on ESPN, where Denzelman was open on a post, wide open for a touchdown, and he pulled it in and scrambled when he was under pressure. I don't know if he went back to throw that, if he would have even hit him, but all he had to do was just fling it. You got the arm, just fling it out there. Couldn't have been more open. So I get that. But that one's a little iffy to me. Everybody's definitive how terrible he is. Those screen passes were a joke. The wind has nothing to do with those screen passes.
No, I get you.
A couple passes over the middle, he bounced. This isn't basketball. He can't bounce. It was bad. It was awful. And then taking no accountability in the post game.
That was bad.
If you pay attention to football, you know everything already. We're not going to go through that. And it's just, he sucked versus the Patriots. He was really good against the Bills, and then he sucked versus.
Well, it's also because it's the Patriots. If there was a team to do it,
but I'm telling you that the offensive line was awful, awful. The Jets' offensive line, and they had no running game.
When you have injuries, the Jets have injuries. They have injuries on the offensive line. They have injuries to their star running back.
Mm-hmm.
You can be consistent one week and inconsistent the next.
Right.
That happens too. It's so different in football because of all the parts that come together.
Mm-hmm.
But you're missing your key guys. That can happen. And I will have more faith in the Jets to pull it together than I do, for example, the Giants, who I think are just so depleted with injuries and a void of talent that I see them have this as being a quick game versus Dallas and just only so much they can do. I think the pressure that was put on by the Jet fan to win because it was needed, that you have a false sense of reality on the darker side that it won't be as bad as you think. You go ahead and you beat the Bears. All of a sudden you're 7-4.
Right.
Okay. You You're
But you
not
need
in first
help
place
now.
in the
You had
division.
the
You had
division
it.
by the
You
balls,
you
and you were
lost it.
ready
Yes.
to
But it
to
doesn't mean
take
it's
charge.
over. It doesn't mean it's
No, it
over.
doesn't.
It doesn't
But
mean
it's probably over. No, in the Jets' history, it's probably
Yeah,
over.
but it's also, I mean, it comes back to some of the Knicks stuff. It's just, even wins on a 3-2 road trip, just so beaten down by your history. I mean, the last time the Knicks won a championship, I wasn't born. I still haven't heard from anybody on this podcast that listens to it that's like, oh, I remember watching. Same with the Jets. It's just been so fucking long.
At least I've seen 2 finals teams. At least I've seen that.
Yes. There was. Yeah, I've seen 2.
94, 99. Those are fun runs.
94
man.
doesn't count.
Why not?
Were you even potty trained?
I was in 4th grade, man. 5th grade. I knew what was going on.
So yes.
Yeah, I knew what was going on. Hell yeah, man. I was fucking into that shit.
Nah, you don't remember that.
Stayed up late with my dad. He would let me stay up and watch all the games in the finals for sure, man.
Okay. So can I bring this one last point up and then I'll be done?
I watched every game, man. I was into every fucking game.
I know. I know. I get it. I
Before
understand.
3rd, 2nd, 1st grade. I mean, I went to every Jets game with my dad from 1st grade on, but like, you think I remember half them shits? But like, you know what I mean? But
I'm joking, Alex. I know you remember this stuff. I remember this stuff too. I love this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
watch it. Yeah, no.
I just had maybe my favorite
Got
moment
offended.
as a father.
Yeah.
I wear a lot of net stuff. My
Mhm.
son now looks at net, and I shared this with you, and he does this all the time. This like legit made me excited, and I did want to share this. My wife who listens to this pod was like, say this on the podcast, so I should say it. My son looks at the Nets logo and he points to it and he goes, "Dad, Dad," and I was just like, for me, that made me feel good because he associates that shithole franchise with me, and it did make me feel good. Where he could look. He looks.
He
at
doesn't
the
get
net
it yet, though.
logo,
He
and
just
he
knows
goes,
that daddy wears
he goes,
this.
Dad,
Yeah,
Dad.
like,
Well, he looks.
yeah.
We have like a net chair for him, and he points to it and he goes, Dad, Dad, and that made me, that made me feel good that he associates, however his brain figured it out when he sees that means dad, and that did make me feel good.
Does that mean that
was
he
a
loves you, or
positive.
does it mean that daddy wears too many net stuff?
It means dad wears too much net stuff. No doubt. Yeah, like if I wear a sweatshirt that has the Nets thing on it, he goes, Dad,
Yeah.
Dad. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't tell him it. I didn't force it on him, but
Right.
but he recognizes it. And that as a father, that was actually something that was a nice moment.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
And I'm
that.
not yawning
Ryan.
at your story. I'm yawning just because.
Shout out
11:30
Ryan.
night.
And when you're older and you're watching this and you're doing Bad Weather Fans, you can say
with my
Alex.
kid.
Yeah. Ryan and
Bad Weather Fans 2.0. Yeah.
2.0. Yeah. No, so that was something I did want to mention because that was.
Did you see it really quick
positive
before we ended? Did you see the
part
Bronny James quote from some scout? He said he's a 4-star talent with a 5-star name. Like, that's fucked up, man. It's a fucked up thing to say. But it might be true. I mean, I don't know. But
I don't know.
But colleges are gonna be throwing fucking offers at him. That's for damn sure.
We're 2-star talents with 1-star names, so we make do. Yeah, that is it just sucks for him too to hear that. Just to be your LeBron
Just be
James
nice,
kid.
man. Like, geez,
Well, how about Michael Jordan's son banging like what is he?
Scottie Pippen's
Pippen
ex-wife.
or something's wife? What's going on there?
Michael Jordan's son is dating Scottie Pippen's wife. Ex-wife.
What?
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
Well, she's a mess. It's a whole
but
thing.
still,
there.
you don't hear like Horace Grant's not with Craig Hodges' ex. Like what?
John Paxson's good son is banging Steve Kerr's.
That's just crazy to me. Dennis Rodman's okay, maybe that's fair.
Yeah, well, maybe that happened. Yeah,
but I mean, like that makes me sad.
Bill Weddington and Will Purdue's big rivalry. They went at each other. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm the better big doofy white guy from the Bulls." Yeah,
right. Nothing's like going in Pornhub and putting the Will Purdue in your search and something comes up. That's a problem.
I think it's the end of the show.
This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 146. Knicks didn't
46.
Yeah, right. Nets get drastic. This is
Bill Weddington, St. John's. Shout out to him, by the way.
Yeah,
good jump shot.
You're done with this.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for listening. You know the drill. Subscribe, listen, everybody. Alex, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later, man.
Peace.